Good evening, I'm Taylor Thomas with a CTV News update. As we reported earlier this week, a team of first responders from our area is in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Fiona knocked out power and triggered flooding and landslides. Maryland Task Force 1 has been on the island for 22 hours and is waiting to be deployed. The team is made up of firefighters, doctors, and structural engineers from D.C., Montgomery, Prince George's, and Howard counties.
It's the first big storm of the season, and it caused massive flooding and power outages across the entire island. Within hours, Maryland Task Force 1 was called into action. This is a group of FEMA-approved search and rescue people, task force members, and it's made up of more than 30 firefighters and some civilians from Maryland.
The missions that they engage in will be more so of humanitarian aid and not search and rescue at this time, although that's subject to change. They're teamed up with Nebraska's task force and the FEMA Incident Support Team.
Cooper says that most of their deployments are 10 to 14 days, but the plan is to stay on the ground until the work is done. A new Maryland law aims to better protect the state's most vulnerable passengers. CTV's Katara Jones is in the control room with more.
In just 10 short days on October 1st, the state's new child passenger safety law will go into effect. It will require that children under the age of 2 be seated in rear-facing seats. Now, here in Maryland, this week is designated as Child Passenger Safety Week. State officials want parents to take this time to learn about the new law so they can better protect their kids.
This new law is providing guidance to parents, and it's also reiterating what has been best practice for years. By keeping children rear-facing to the age of 2 and beyond is going to protect their head and their spine in the event of a crash. A parent or a caregiver should always look at a child's weight and height when determining if it's time to go to the next type of seat. Each child's safety seat will have the weight and the height minimum and maximum right on the seat itself.
For more details on the new law, visit zerodeathsmd.gov/car seat. Katara Jones, CTV News.
Here are the latest COVID-19 numbers for our area. The Maryland Department of Health has confirmed 964 new COVID-19 cases. 11 Marylanders have died of the virus over the past 24 hours. The state reports that 449 people are currently hospitalized. 6 months after the State Board of Education issued charges against Prince George's School Board Chair Juanita Miller, she'll get her chance to answer the allegations. Miller faces allegations of misconduct in office, willful neglect of duty, and incompetence. An administrative judge has set a trial date for November 28th, but the case may not make it that far because the plaintiffs have asked the judge for a summary decision. This could lead to a final ruling by late October. You're watching CTV News. I'm Taylor Thomas. Back in a moment.
Worried your friend's struggling but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could write them a text or knit them a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write them a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back. Police have released the name of the homeowner who was killed during a burglary this week in Hyattsville. He is 23-year-old Giovanni Halis. Halis was rushed to the hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. The burglar was found shot to death in the basement of the home on 30th Avenue on Tuesday. That person's identity has not been released. The EPA announces delivery of historic water infrastructure funding to Maryland. $43 million has been awarded to the state from the bipartisan infrastructure law. The measure is meant to help communities access clean, safe, and reliable drinking water, safeguard waterways, and much more. The grant is the first significant distribution of water infrastructure funds.
We're in a time that's facing tremendous challenges from climate. And we know in this area, we get too much water. We struggle with flooding and climate resilience, and our neighbors in Annapolis and even downtown DC see a lot of flooding. So the Biden administration, working with leaders in Congress, has passed historic funding to help support our water infrastructure. And that includes PADI drinking water infrastructure. And we have fewer problems with drinking water in this area than other places in the country, but also flood control, which is a serious concern. So more than $76 million is going to the state of Maryland, and counties like Prince George's can apply and try to get some of that money to help out.
The grants can be used towards replacing lead service lines, cleaning up contaminants, as well as making communities more resilient in the face of floods and climate change. 2 historically black sororities are shining a light on human trafficking in the county. The Psi Epsilon Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority and the Prince George's County alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta sorority are joining forces to combat human trafficking. The sororities will co-host 3 seminars on the topic, and the first one is set for tonight.
Human trafficking is based on greed, plain and simple. And so it's not a respecter of persons or genders or ethnicity or national origin or age, gender identity. It doesn't respect any of those things.
And often we look at labor trafficking as separate from sex trafficking. In many instances, it's both. There's labor and sex trafficking, or we see the labor, or we identify the labor, because that's the sexy issue. That's what we want to talk about. We're helping to combat. But the labor trafficking is existing in that same situation as well.
To register for the free event, visit the website right there on your screen. U.S. Park Police say a vandal is in custody after he allegedly defaced one of D.C.'s most iconic structures. The suspect you're seeing right there on your screen is 44-year-old Sean Deaton of Bloomington, Indiana. Deaton was arrested last night after allegedly dumping a bucket of red paint and writing profanities on the Washington Monument. He's charged with trespassing, tampering, and vandalism. The National Park Service says it could take weeks before the paint is completely removed. Well, you would think by now all airline travelers would know you can't bring a weapon on any commercial flight. Not the case. Earlier this morning, TSA agents stopped a male traveler from bringing a loaded gun on a plane leaving out of Reagan Airport. Agents say the passenger from Fort Washington was found with a loaded 9mm handgun in his carry-on. The unidentified passenger had his weapon confiscated and he was cited. TSA agents have found 20 guns on travelers at Reagan Airport so far this year. And we'll be back with more news in a minute. Stay tuned.
Even though we didn't grow up together, he's my favorite brother.
Hey, sis.
I'm the baby of the family, and he's the gentle giant.
What you know about Port Georgia?
Man, please, that's a classic.
You know when they say people are a rare breed? Yeah, he's that.
I'm sorry, I'll be back in a few hours.
Don't worry, Sheriff, you know I'm for you.
I know.
Go get the football.
That was my favorite memory. He was always for ya. This is a true story of me, Bridget Floyd, and this guy, George Perry Floyd Jr., my big brother.
Welcome back. This weekend marks the North American premiere of the first Guaranian language opera. It's called Niageta, or Conversation, and features a Paraguayan tenor. The live performance combines contemporary indigenous music traditions with the lyricism of opera. The main character converses with Christopher Columbus about the effects of colonization of the local people and the environment.
It's the first Paraguayan indigenous language Guarani opera. So that is a amazing feat in itself. And then the second purpose would be just to show that the indigenous language is still alive and well and spoken throughout Paraguay by most Paraguayans. And then it's also about how their life was disrupted when Columbus came over. So how the Paraguayans used to live, and then the disruption of the food and the water and the forest. So that is essentially what the opera is about.
The free event will be subtitled in English. It takes place this Sunday, September 24th at 2 p.m. at the National Museum of American Indian. Now, for more information, log on to americanindian.si.edu. Well, if you love the arts, you will be happy to know that the county is hosting its first film festival. It kicks off tomorrow and runs through Sunday, September 25th. Now, this year's inaugural event marks the 40th anniversary of the county's Arts Council. Organizers say the goal is to provide a place for local artists to showcase their talents and work. One such artist is filmmaker Dwayne Brown, who says the exposure is invaluable. His trailer entitled Untold Secrets, The Flip Side, will be featured during the festival.
Being able to tell our story and several stories and universal stories, and the fact that letting everyone know we have a lot of talent here that's up and coming and is here and has gone on to do bigger and better things. But the fact of the matter, having this platform to show our work, it's awesome.
The festival is taking place at 3 locations: MGM, the Sunset Room at the National Harbor, and Bowie State University. For event or activity times and locations, go to filmfreeway.com.
Around the corner, and the Washington Wizards made a lot of changes within their roster for the upcoming season. Yesterday, team general manager Tommy Shepard told the media that the team is embracing the fresh start.
So it is a new team.
I'm excited.
It's not new to us because we're familiar with these guys. They've been around, but they're new to each other, a lot of these players, and I think they're going to blend well. I think one person not to sleep on. It's just been a fantastic veteran presence for us, and Ben Tosh gives his ability to bring people together. We got a lot of good connectors. I think there's bookends, and I just kind of brag about these guys for a minute, but they're really high character people that love to be here, love to represent DC. Can't wait to get in front of the fans and show that this is new, that this is a new team, and we're excited.
The Wizards begin preseason on Friday, September 30th against the Golden State Warriors. DC sports legend Maury Wills has died at age 89. Wills was a shortstop who played Major League Baseball for 14 amazing years. The Los Angeles Dodgers honored Wills, with a moment of silence, and this video you're watching is the tribute they shared with fans during yesterday's game. Wills led the league in stolen bases from 1960 to 1965. Born Maurice Morning Wills on October 2nd, 1932, he was a 3-sport standout at Cardozo High School in D.C. He will be missed, but his legacy will live on forever. And that's your CTV Sports Update. Now, Taylor, how excited are you for NBA season?
You are reading my mind. I am so excited about the NBA season, and I know our Washington Wizards are going to do really good.
Yeah, the general manager is super excited for the season, so
I will be at the games. I'll be at the games. All right, let's turn our attention now to the weather forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy with lows around 69 degrees. Thursday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms in our forecast. Highs around 82. Friday, sunny, highs around 68 degrees. Saturday's forecast, sunny skies with highs around 73 degrees. That's our CTV News update tonight. I'm Taylor Thomas with Laurencia Moten right here for CTV News. Have a safe night.